Welcome to the Media Watch, where we highlight the stories coming in on your dailies this morning. We begin things off with the Daily Nation. Now, the front page just gives you what security matters here in Kenya has come to. We are having here Inspector General David Kenei just giving tough stance when it comes to the police working in correlation with their partners in fighting crime here in Kenya, where they've been given a directive to shoot. So indeed, here we're having on the headlines, top new gun orders for police in crime war. Kenei tells officers not to fear firing on armed criminals in potentially risk directive. Now we have here Olelenku, that is our PS4 Interior, who says it's thugs and their backers who object to security soups, Lenku says, and promises to spread crackdown to other towns here in Kenya. So this just gives you an insight to how the government is not taking chances when it comes to matter security and providing safety for its citizens. That is coming in page 1 of the Daily Nation. So we're having other stories coming in. We're having 18 schools being put under the surveillance for radical teachings, and over 4,000 people facing police in Eastleigh over illegal immigration into the Kenyan border. So indeed, that is quite a good story to have a look at. You can have your in-depth analysis of this particular story on page 4 of your Daily Nation. And also on the front page, we have the East African community apologizing for its negligence in trying to prevent and also to avert the war in Rwanda. Now, the genocide killed at least 800,000 Rwandese, that is the Hutu and the Tutsi people. So indeed, the Kenyan government, which is representing the East African region, with the chairman being our President Uhuru Kenyatta. So indeed, that is quite a good story to find in page 2. Now, from page 1, we go all the way to page 6, where we are in court matters. Now, in terms of courts, we have here one couple being charged with trying to defraud an insurance company here in Kenya. Now, they are defrauding the insurance company to a tune of 634,000. Quite a good story here that is just depicting to you that honesty is indeed the best policy. From page 6, we move on swiftly to page 8, where we are having our men in white, that is the Kenyan Navy, being charged with leaving their duties in Kenya. That is on page, sorry, no, not from that. We go to page 8. I'll take you to that story later on. But on page 8, we have matters ICC, sorry for that, where we are having a prosecution witness, that is P0469, just giving false evidence to the judges in the courtroom. Now, here we have a story by Jeremiah Kiplagat, who says, I'll take you to paragraph number 2, just highlighting the gist of this particular story. Now, prosecution witness P0469 testified that Mr. Odinga said on television that the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea will be filled with blood if he was not announced the winner of the election. Now, the defense counsel took the stand to actually say that the defense, that's moving to the last column of this particular story, where they say that the defense lawyer said Mr. Odinga only used the word tsunami in reference to the elections and never was there the use of the term sea. So you can have your in-depth analysis of this particular story on page 8 in the ICC matters. Here on your extreme left, you can see there the headline in blue, ICC. Moving from there, we have to page 18 in Matters County. And in Matters County, we delve into the world of Mombasa County. Now, Mombasa County is alarmed with the high cancer patients waiting up to a year to receive treatment. Now, yesterday we highlighted in the local daily that indeed the Kwale, that is a Moi Referral hospital in Kwale, has been upgraded with lab equipments to ensure that they deliver proper healthcare to the residents. Now, here we have Mombasa County complaining that they lack vital equipments to ensure that they are able to provide services to their residents. So we are having here the caption, Coast Hospital lacks specialist doctors, while some do not even have the vital medical equipment. This is a piece written by Winnie Atieno, so you should have a look at that. And if you suffer from the same, also champion the local governments to ensure that they provide adequate service to you, being the resident. From page 18, we dive to page 23. Now, in page 23, we talk about poaching. Now, poaching has become a menace for the greater African region, not just the East African region. We're having poaching just take through the West African nations, moving into the Central Africa, into East Africa, where Kenya is the major transit city when it comes to taking tasks and also the horns of rhinos and the tusks of elephants to Asian markets such as Thailand and China. So indeed, this is quite a very interesting story, just giving you hope to this menace that is causing the death of so many important big five wildlife here in Africa. So we are having agencies plant joint war against poachers. So that is a story by Tanzania and Kenya coming together to pool their forces to fight poachers in the international borders of Kenya and Tanzania. From that, we move on to Nigeria, that is taking the business segment on page 34. But also just to highlight, you can take your copy of the Daily Nation and find the DN2 where we're having bitter pills. So just that's a particular nice story on matters health. You can get your adequate information on what resides in health in your counties. So now to page 34. Where we're having Nigeria. Now, I've just stated this in the bulletin. Nigeria never used to add key sectors such as film production, telecommunications, information and technology industries in its GDP, something that they have included in their current GDP calculations, making it Africa's largest economy, beating South Africa that has for a long time taken the first slot. So indeed, quite a good story here. Just to give you the highlights of this particular story, we have indeed, it coming to a tune of, let me just give you examples for this particular estimation of how much was left out of the GDP in regards to the film production industry known as Nollywood. We are having here Nollywood, for example, was a net worth of 853.9 billion nairas, which is a tune of 5.1 billion US dollars. So those are critical industries that were not being added in the GDP that are now being added, pushing them to the first slot in the African economic scene. From there, we go to the last page where we're having here quite a good directive. We are hoping the government does push through, where we're having the NAT, that is the Kenyan National Union of Teachers, pushing for more cash to hire extra teachers for the country's ailing education sector, where we're having a prevalence of about 10,000 teachers not being hired to assist in the education matters in the country. So indeed, what they're asking for is 24 billion Kenyan shillings. We're waiting to see how this particular story unfolds. But here at Ebru Africa, we will keep you informed on exactly what is happening. So from there, we move in to the Standard. Now, in the Standard, we have the headline being security alert. So we're having here just a chronological order of exactly how the security situation here in Africa has been. We're having in Africa and specifically here in Kenya. So the headline is protecting, the headline is security alert. The subheading is protecting Kenyans. So let me just take you through this particular chronological order. We have March the 17th, police discover with FBI help a car full of bombs parked at the police station in Mombasa. Moving on to the 23rd of March, Likoni church attack, 5 gunmen leave 6 dead and a bullet in baby Satrin's head. But quite a good story coming out of this is baby Satrin, the bullet lodged in her head has been removed. So indeed, quite a very hopeful story that indeed God is with us and with baby Satrin. Moving on to March the 31st, attacks in Eastleigh leave 6 dead and triggers police swoop in a week of about where 4,000 were detained in the Safaricom Stadium detention camp, where we are moving on swiftly to the death of Sheikh Abubakar Sharif, alias Makaburi, being killed by unarmed gunmen outside the Shanzu Law Courts. Swiftly into April the 2nd, where Uhuru leaves for Belgium and orders Ruto and Kimayo, that is the Inspector General, to ensure safety of Kenyans, especially VIPs and their family. Swiftly moving in through April the 5th, where we're having Uhuru meets British, American, Australian and Canadian envoys to discuss the rising cases of terrorism in the country. And then finally to yesterday, April the 7th, where we're having all county security chiefs, intelligence, immigration, prison officers are briefed about the state of alert in the country and the need for them to ensure increased surveillance in their regions. Indeed, this is quite a good story, just to ensure to you what the government is taking to ensure the security of her citizens is top priority and in top notch. So this comes, so indeed, just to give you the prevalence of exactly this story is taking way across the 2 particular dailies in our country. We have the Daily Nation just having the tough new gun orders for policing crime, and the Standard just having here security alert. So indeed, this the matter of security is taking precedence in Kenyan matters at the moment. Politics is taking a second position, where security is taking the first position. Just to give you the impact that indeed Kenyans want to be secure in their boundaries. Now, still on the first page, we have MPs split on bill seeking to reduce taxable goods. So the VAT is some section of Parliament want the VAT to be reduced on very vital goods. That is the exemption of the VAT on basic commodity goods, which has prompted a division in Parliament, where some parliamentary members say that this particular bill is not in right timing, facing the charge that Kenya is fighting off a 500 billion wage bill crisis. So indeed, that is quite a good story to have a look at in page 2. Now, from the first page, moving on swiftly to page number 6, in matters economic here in Kenya in regards to the ECL crackdown. Now, businesses suffer as crackdown continues. So just bringing to you how things in ECL are coming to a standstill. So people are not making money. People are not going to work. They're not earning wages. This is quite a good story to have a look at what insecurity, how insecurity affects not only the safety of citizens of a particular country, but how it has a way of linking itself to businesses in the region. Now, from page 8, we dive to page, 6, we dive into page 8, the story that I was saying earlier, where we're having ex-soldiers plead guilty to charge. Now, our men in white are being charged with failing to oblige with their duties and leaving for better employment opportunities provided by private security firms in countries such as Iraq and Iran. So indeed, that is quite a good story here, where we're having highlighted in red military officers in trouble. Now, about 400 soldiers are said to have left the Navy between November 2006 and mid-2008 after securing well-paying jobs in Iraq and Afghanistan. So not Iran, but Afghanistan there. So that is quite a good piece for you to have a look at, how some men in white are tainting the good image of our country Navy. So from there, we go from page 8, we move on swiftly to page 18, where we talk about transport woes in the country. Now, what Kenya is trying to do, and what the region, that is the Nairobi County, what it's trying to do basically is to ensure that there's lack of bribery when it comes to the transport sector. They're trying to ensure that the transport sector runs smooth, that the Nairobi County stops the corruption menace that is taking Kenya by storm and causing Kenya to lose a lot of money in billions. So indeed, we're having here one particular inside story by Kamau Muthoni, who says bribery is still rife despite tough traffic rules. So indeed, we're having here matatu drivers flaunting the law to ensure that they meet their demands for the day, because at the end of the day, what they are doing right now is making less trips, because with the harsh yet safety-led laws governing the transport industry. So indeed, they are making less trips, causing them to overload vehicles. Hence, if they are involved in an accident, a lot of Kenyans lose their lives. So indeed, this is quite a good piece by Kamau Muthoni, that you can have an inside look of what is happening in your transport sector this morning. Now, from there, page 18, we move on swiftly to page 26, where we're highlighting how counties are preparing to increase their yield production. And on this particular day, we talk of that is the Mwea irrigation scheme. Let me just take you through to page 26. Give me 1 minute, and here I am. Rukenya Rice Project 2 on course despite hitches. Now, this particular scheme will ensure that we raise our rice production in the country from, let me get that for you, and here we are. It will raise the country's production of rice from 23,000 hectares to 46,000 acres. So just giving to you the fact that Kenya will have better yields in the rice farming industry. So that is a good story coming in from Kirinyaga County. From page 35 to page 26 to page 35, where we're talking of matters economic boom in the East African region, counting in Kenya, Tanzania, and the greater Ugandan region. Now, following the discoveries of natural gases in Tanzania and oil in Kenya, the East African community is set to get a boost in its economy, where the World Bank predicts that Kenya will have a 5.2% increase economic growth as compared to last year, where we had a 4.7% growth in the East African region. So it is indeed a good time to do business within the East African boundary. So that is a good story coming in, and quite a hopeful story for Kenyans who are looking for a better economic time and a better economic day following the woes that we're having in the country right now. So indeed, that is a good story coming in on page 35. Now, from page 35, that is your business today, we move on swiftly to the last page where we're having matters football. Now, in the fever pitch, we are having here the PSG, that is a Paris Saint-Germain, hurdle in a Chelsea Cup bid. So here we're having Blues striker crisis in Champions League. So that is quite a good story to find out what is happening on matters UEFA, matters FA Cup, and matters Barclays Premier League. Now, those are the stories coming in from your two local dailies. Here we have the Standard and the Nation. But stay tuned for Ebru Africa this morning for more viewing. I am Cherotich. Kenei. Bye-bye.